we will abolish the e-levy. If the road toll is a way to raise revenue, the road toll will come back.
So he said quite a few things which are very newsworthy. Dr. Forson told the Appointments Committee that stabilizing the cedi, reducing prices and creating jobs will be his key priorities. He made the promises in the context of the effects of a depreciating Ghana cedi on the country's debt levels and the cost of living. He says about 90% of the increases in Ghana's external debt can be traced to the cedi's depreciation. Let's take a listen to what he said yesterday.
I think government has a key role to play in this, particularly the fiscal authorities. I said this because if the country is actively in the market, borrowing every week, I mean, if you look at the T-bill market today, every single week we roll over 111 billion Ghana cedis. And if you were to roll over 111 billion Ghana cedis week in, week out, the interest rate will certainly go up. And you should also understand that interest rate sometimes is a function of inflation. And that is why personally, I believe there is the need for us to immediately work to bring inflation down. And then also work in such a way that we can stabilize inflation, stabilize the exchange rate, and create jobs. Until we do such a thing, certainly the concerns you've raised will still be there. And there's a lot of work we have to do. It starts from the fiscal authorities. We need to cut expenditure. The time is now. We have to cut the waste. And if you cut the waste, certainly you'll be able to, you will not be able to, you will certainly go to the market in a careful way that you will not be borrowing as much as you are borrowing today. And that in itself, you won't crowd out the private sector and you will be bringing down the inflation in a way that interest rate will come down.
So he said all these things, and then you're probably wondering, how are we going to raise Ghana's tax revenue if taxes are being cut? Well, Finance Minister designate Dr. Forson, he wants to raise Ghana's tax revenue from the current 13.8% to between 16 and 18% in the medium term. He promised to do so by ensuring strict tax compliance and not necessarily increase in the number of taxes. He appeared before the Appointments Committee in Parliament, and this is what he had to say about higher tax revenue through compliance.
I've studied the Ghana economy for some time, and I can say without mentioning a word that Ghana has huge potential when it comes to tax revenue mobilization. You don't necessarily have to increase taxes before you rake in revenue. You have the handles. What we need to do is to improve compliance. I will work with the JRA, the Tax Policy Unit of the Ministry of Finance, to ensure that we increase compliance and to raise the revenue as much as we can. In the medium term, it is my vision, when approved, to increase the revenue from 13.8, tax revenue from 13.8% of GDP to about 16 to 18%. That will be able to compare ourselves to our peers. I believe the potentials are out there. It doesn't necessarily mean we should increase taxes. Yes, we have obviously announced that we are going to scrap certain taxes. We'll stick to just that. But it doesn't also mean that we don't care about the revenue. We care about the revenue. And we will have to do more on revenue.
If approved, this is the man who will be holding the PES, the national PES. Are you encouraged by anything he said or during the vetting, or you think, well, no, I'm not too happy with this particular proposal? Bruce.
Yeah, it's about the tax compliance. If we all come to the understanding that we need to help government to develop the country for us. If I'm doing something and I'm expected to pay tax, I have to go and pay. It's a national duty, and if you don't do it, it means you don't want Ghana to progress. So whatever measures they can put in for all of us to understand the need to pay tax and comply with the rules and regulations, fine, I support it. And another thing, this levity that they are talking about, they all know that we Ghanaians, we don't like it.
But is there any person who likes taxes?
We all don't like taxes, you see, but you can tax us in a way that we will not feel pain or anger before paying it. So if the taxes are such that, nobody is crying for buying, there's a tax on this water, but nobody is crying buying it. If you want to buy, you buy. Those who are drinking beer, it has inelastic demand. Hypertension has inelastic demand. So let's look at those goods and services that has inelastic demand. Put your taxes there. People will buy it. Because without it, they cannot function to the best of their ability. So somebody will say, if they tax hypertension to the point that they have to use spoon to measure it, he will still get drunk. So you see how important that good is to him. So let's look at goods that have inelastic demand. No matter how. Put the tax on it, you'll make it.
How about the betting tax that they want to scrap?
The betting tax, honestly speaking, as a psychologist, all betting games and all those things, lottery, they are all built on the principles of intermittent reinforcement. You don't know when you gain. You understand the point? So it's a way of taking money from you, the promise that will give it to you. But then you will not get it. Nobody has ever gone into betting, lottery, and become a millionaire. You understand?
A few win, but the majority don't.
You see, the principle is that people, there's something we call pathological gambling. You see, you win today, your expectation, tomorrow there will be a bigger win. So you spend about 70% of what you have won and invest it again, only for you to lose. What type of behavior is that? You see the point now? So that is why, honestly speaking, I may not be so much worried about what people will say. But my view, as for betting, the tax must be high to demotivate people from doing that. It's work and happiness.
So you want a higher tax on betting?
Yeah, let's create the environment for people to find work to do, and they will not go into betting and lottery and all those. You will not win. This machine that they pull like this, do you know why? There is a collector within the machine. Everybody will be putting in the coins, and when it is full up to a gauge, then they drop, one person will collect. Then you go on. All that went in is for the machine owner. Every morning go to where they open and you see they are winning. The machine owner gains more than you. You can't go and then work hard and then you contribute. You understand the point now? I have a personal experience to give. Somebody went to Ghana Commercial Bank and borrowed money.
How much?
I didn't know how much. But when I look at the house, which was seized, and the house is still being used by Ghana Commercial Bank. I don't want to mention the name of the town. Very beautiful house. He used all the money to stake Lotto and he lost.
He borrowed to go and stake?
Yes. He bought the booklets, about 100 of them. The two is too short, too direct. And he wrote all those numbers. Bam! He lost. He can't pay. So they seized the house up to today. All the bank managers that come to that town to work for Ghana Commercial Bank, that is their bank. Very beautiful house. Yes. Those days.
Is the man alive?
By now, I have not traces on him. But the last time I saw, he managed to put up a single room somewhere because of lottery. You see, it has made people become poor. You see, the underlying factor of why people become rich and all of a sudden they become poor, and why poor people become rich before they die, is behavior. The way you use your resources will determine whether you become rich or you become poor. So it's not about betting, it's not about putting your money here for a game or lottery. You can't stake Lotto and build a house from it. That one I can assure everybody.
So Prof. Bruce is happy with all that stuff, but he thinks the betting tax will even be higher. What are your thoughts on that? Let us know. 055-556-1034. Mr. Johnny, you listen to the man who's going to be controlling the purse strings of the country. Any highlights for you?
Well, I see the tax area it doesn't want to burden people anymore because it's the economic situation is bad as it is already, and cash flow is very, very low. But I read a book some time ago by a Peruvian scholar who says that when you want to tax people, it's like plucking the chicken. If you pluck and the chicken doesn't say anything, then that's fine. The moment the chicken says quack, that means that it is hurting. So don't stop it.
So as long as you're plucking and the chickens don't say anything.
Yes, but if you say quack, stop it. I think he did a beautiful presentation. All that he said I thought was correct. There's an area that I thought was also very interesting in respect of the gold that keeps to dwindling. I mean, we're not making enough gold to export, and that's the backbone of the dollar. so to speak, and he needs to do something about that. Cocoa is dwindling, and it's strange why, things that are supposed to give us foreign exchange, the last government didn't look at it. Our oil wells that needs to be, worked on, they have not created anything. So these are areas that we quickly need to go to and work on to creating a lot of foreign exchange, bringing investors, capable investors who can work on these things. And I'm surprised that the last government left cocoa in abeyance and they don't do anything about it. And instead they allowed